Hello, everyone. Thanks for dropping by.
Okay.
My name is Steve Oxner. I'm a senior here at Bentley. Before I get started, I just want to say thanks so much for coming out today. I know that myself, Mark, and all the other people that work for the Sandbox really do appreciate your company today. So thank you. And we're very excited to show you the projects that we've been working on. Today, I'll be taking you through a website that I created in my course CS213. It's called the World Wide Web. My professor is Jackie Maslov. Many of you guys know her, she's great. So yeah, before I begin, I just want to explain a little bit more about the course. Over the past few years, as you can see in this graphic here, Bentley's CIS minor has become increasingly popular, and that's for good reason. The CIS minor is an excellent way to supplement your chosen major with something a bit more technical. If you're interested in pursuing a CIS minor, the CS213 course is going to be one of your required courses. What's great about this course is that it provides students with knowledge on three major programming languages used in web development. The first is Hypertext Markup Language, or HTML. This is the foundational programming language for web development. The second is Cascading Style Sheets, or CSS. This language is used to visually modify your web page. And the third is JavaScript, a programming language used to create engaging interfaces that users can interact with on your web page. So using these three languages in tandem, I was able to create this website for myself. As you can see, this might seem a little advanced at this stage, but it had humble beginnings, and that's what I'm going to show you. So this is the first rendition of my website. I created this page using only HTML code, and as you can see, it's quite rigid. There's some color differentiation, but it's generally unappealing, and in terms of style, that's expected because HTML is somewhat limiting. But that's why we learn CSS. As you'll see in this next homework right here, this was the second rendition where I was able to use CSS to customize specific elements of my original website to accentuate different creative themes and really just make it my own. And I'd say this is an improvement on the last website you saw, but obviously it's not there yet. But the important thing to recognize is that CSS allows us to really personalize our site, and it gives you much more freedom. So now that you've seen the earlier versions, I can explain a little bit more about how I was able to achieve my current website result. So as an information design major and computer information systems minor, I felt that it was important that my resume and work portfolio serve as a testament to my skill set. And I couldn't imagine a more suitable way to achieve this than by programming my own personal website. And while Wix and Squarespace are great and convenient tools for creating a website in a pinch, I wanted to put the skills that I acquired in CS213 to the test. So as you can see in the top right corner of my website, I've started to map out a few of the pages I want to add in the future. Obviously, this is a lot of work, but I'm prepared to put it in. This portfolio page would serve as a home for all of my programming and design projects that I've completed over the past few years. I'd have a general coursework page, a resume page, and about page where I could get in contact with people. And obviously, I still have a lot of work to go, but I think that the end goal is very motivating. So I'm excited to put the work in, and obviously the progress along the way is very motivating as well. So now I'd like to touch on the other aspect of CS213. As you can see, I'm showing you this website from Google. And the reason that I'm able to do that is because it's all thanks to Bentley's virtual machine, Microsoft Azure. Microsoft Azure is a very popular cloud computing software that is widely used by large companies throughout almost every major industry. To have real-world exposure to this kind of software is quite special. It provides us with a great perspective into what goes on behind the scenes in order for websites to be published and maintained. This is also a very expensive resource for businesses, and to understand how to use it, and more importantly, how to use it efficiently and effectively, is an invaluable skill to have in your mind and on your resume. Additionally, Bentley ensures that CS213 students adjust to developing technology and business trends to ensure that students get exposure to all of the latest and greatest tools before they enter the workspace. And I can't say how awesome that is, just to know the little intricacies of things like cloud computing software or CSS Grid. So you really feel prepared before leaving the doors of campus. So that's awesome. And this, I would say, pretty much concludes the main points I wanted to touch on today. Thank you so much for listening. And if you can't tell, I'm very enthusiastic and excited about the work I'm doing. So if you have any questions at all, I'd be happy to answer them in the time we have left. Thank you.
Hey, Steve, excellent presentation. Probably a silly question, but it looks like that's a storage container in the background. Just curious as to why you chose that for your homepage.
That is a good question. Well, first and foremost, it was on Pixabay. That's like a copyright-free website. So that was my target right there. And then I kind of like the dark style, and it kind of spoke to me in the moment, but obviously, you know, things are subject to change.
I read it as there's something happening behind each door. Like you have home, portfolio, coursework, and it's like, okay, when you go to one of those pages, it's like one of those doors opens up, and now here's my portfolio section. Here's my resume. It's like compartmentalized. So
yeah,
you're right. It's subject to interpretation, but I liked it.
That is a cool interpretation. That could be a cool interactive goal later on in the process. Thank you for your question.
In going through and making this, like, what was the, I guess, moment or thing that you kind of put together that you're like, all right, I'm so glad that I did this, and this took me like so long and I figured this out, like your aha moment that you had in building this site?
Aha moment. I guess when, all right, I don't know if I can show you this. Does my screen get smaller? Can you see? So if you can see here, it's responsive. Which means that given like different screen size, the website will, you know, customize to fit it. So it doesn't get all like distorted when you change screen sizes. And this was like a really tedious and difficult step in the process to make sure that things were getting resized the correct amount and continue to look readable to the user. So I was like going back and forth with this for quite some time. And then when I finally was able to get things right, I was just like, okay, this is like the biggest obstacle I had to overcome in this process. And now I'm pretty much done with this page. And that's when I was like, okay, what are my other pages going to be? So I got pretty ambitious. And this is also another cool aspect I want to show you quickly is this right here, this drop window. As you can see, this is only apparent when the screen is too small to account for these items right here. So it's like another really small aspect, but like another major accomplishment for me throughout the process. So I'd say that's it.
Awesome. Super cool. Yeah, I can definitely imagine that it's sometimes those small things that go unnoticed to other people, but are the ones that you'll notice and be like, yes, I'm glad this happened. Yeah, but super absolutely cool.